Have a warm welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the senior taster of Whisky.com. And today we have quite a new, not that new, whiskey, a Lagavulin, 8 years of age, 48% ABV, and it's $49.90 and for our customers on Whisky.com. And this whiskey has a predecessor, and this was the 8-year-old Lagavulin, which appeared to the 200-year anniversary of Lagavulin in the year 2016. I thought I'd say 1860. It was founded in 1816, and this was well before the laws in the Highlands allowed to produce malt whiskey there. It was started in 1823-24, but this wasn't part of the Highlands, was a part of the Isles, and there the Lord of the Isles reigned, and so there was the possibility to distill a whiskey on the Isles. Yeah, and this 8-year-old was bottled for the anniversary, and in 2016, I was introduced to this whiskey at Blair Castle, where I received my Keeper of the Quaich certificate or status. And this was the fourth whiskey in a row after several courses of meal together with haggis and a intense fish. And so I do not really remember how that whiskey was then. And that whiskey was, you can distinguish that 8-year-old from this 8-year-old with his label, this oval-shaped label. There had been 1816, 2016 written on the label, and now it's gone. There's just a normal signature for this whiskey. Yeah, the whiskey became cheaper. It was priced in the mid-50s, and now we're down to $49.90. And this, keeps the distance to the 16-year-old Lagavulin, which is, a big mark in history of the distillery. And there had been a 12-year-old Lagavulin out on the market, and it appeared in 1988 with the Ascot Malt Cellar. This was a collection of malt whiskies from then United Distillers, I think they called themselves then. And this was replaced by the Classic Malt of Scotland, where they increased from 12 years to 16 years. And I once was offered a 12-year-old from the Ascot Malt Cellar for €200, was German marks. And I said, far too expensive. And today, for 4-digit figures, definitely. So this is the whiskey, and if you look carefully at the box, then you see down here a handwriting and a sketch of a guy, and this was Alfred Barnard. Alfred Barnard, a very famous whiskey writer in the end of the 19th century, and he wrote his book of the distilleries of the United Kingdom in 1886. It was published, and the years before he traveled more than 90 distilleries, and he also traveled to Lagavulin, and there he tasted the 8-year-old then, and in the honor of Alfred Barnard, they decided to have an 8-year-old at Lagavulin and give his picture on the bottle, and they write down here, we journeyed, so this is from the book, we journeyed through the village of Lagavulin, the mill in the valley, that's translated. And no prettier or more romantic spot could have been chosen for a distillery. We tasted some 8-year-old before starting, which was exceptionally fine. Alfred Barnard. So this is it, why this 8-year-old is on the market. And this should also help the distillery to keep their stocks alive and not have all those whiskeys bottled for the 16-year-old or the 12-year-old cask strength. Yeah, Lagavulin smokiness on the cork and this typical intensity. So this is a very, very light whiskey, showing that the casks are not only just 8 years of age, but as well a refill cask. Depending how charred they were, there might be a little bit of more color coming out of the cask, but not in this one. This is white wine, Gavi di Gavi. So this is a typical Lagavulin, but a little bit fruitier and not that cask influence like the 16-year-old had a lot of cask in it. This is smooth with a citrus note in it, a maritime smoky aroma, a little bit of cereals, of maltiness in the back. The smokiness is there, is present, but not dominant. No, not at all. And it's said it should have 35 to 40 ppm peat level, but that might have come from the time, they had a time where they started to reduce the peat level because they wanted to reach a broader audience. And this would have reached the 16-year-old in 2013. But I think that time is gone. So this one is not that smoky. It's not the 45, no. It's a little bit less. So I wonder where that comes from. Yeah. Cheers. Warming, sweet, peaty, smoky, and then sharp notes in it. Yeah, so if you have a 16-year-old whiskey, those sharper notes would all be oxidized to smoother ones. But here, a present, intense, sharp note is there, vanishes quite fast, and the spiciness of casks remain in your mouth. And, well, it's going a little bit faster than I thought. So the cask isn't that dominant, no. And in your mouth, you're feeling the smoke. Yeah. Very little vanilla caramel in the aftertaste. I don't know what Alfred Barnard meant when he said exceptionally fine. Was he, well, very fond of extreme, intense, peaty whiskey? Had been all the whiskies in that time, due to the usage of the peat as firing everything and drying the peat, the malt, were all whiskies that intense. Probably the Lagavulin, 8 years old, a little bit less. I don't know. I think this is a marketing blur writing it on it. But it shows history, and the distillery was established in 1816, long before Alfred Barnard traveled the Isles. So the 200 years anniversary isn't really fitting Alfred Barnard. But the whiskey is really good, and now the price with $49.90 has the right distance to the ever-growing price of the Lagavulin 16-year-old, which is now in the high 60s to 70s. So this is a little bargain. And it shows more alcohol. It's 48% instead of the 43 of the Lagavulin 16 years of age. So this is a little bargain, and it's very well done, and I recommend it. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. There's more to come.